My name is Mattias. I'm the head of sound design for Toontrack. Today we're going to go through some of the new features in Superior 2.2. So one of the new features in Superior 2.2 is that we have a grooves menu. As you can see in the groove menu here, you have all the grooves available directly from within Superior 2.2. So you can go into any groove and click your way in and just audition it by clicking the play button either here or down here. If you're in Toontrack Solo, you can also use the space bar to start and stop the groove. And as you can see here, you also have the kit pieces. So it's like Easy Player Pro, but inside Superior 2.2. The other thing that's new is the mapping window, from which you can see all the articulations in the keyboard menu. If I select a drum, you can see all the keys that are occupied by these articulations from the instrument that you can see up here. If I right-click any of these instruments or articulations, you can see it in yellow in the keyboard layout here, so you can see where it exists. You can also directly from here, either you can use the velocity control to control the curve from the actual articulation, the velocity curve. You can also drag one articulation down and blend it with another. So for example, I could drag this center hit from the snare down and put it on note number 36, which is the kick drum, for example. And I can choose to join or replace. If I join, I will have a new MIDI node, which you can see up here, which I can, of course, name. So I'll name it kick plus snare. And then I have the members of this MIDI node, which is snare center and kick right. I can also learn to create yet another note for this particular MIDI node. And I can also select the velocity start and stop. So from this goes from 0 to 127 in velocity on both articulations. I could do that the center will only do 127 by just entering 127 to 127. Then the kick will go from 0 to 127, and on 127 you will have a snare coming in as well. As you can see down here, you have a graphical representation of the velocity. So you can click inside this to listen to the chosen key in any velocity. And as you can hear, on 127 you have both the kick and the snare. And 126 and below you have only the kick. So if I choose 0 to 127 on the snare center, I will have it on the whole range of the velocity. I can also click and hold the mouse in this velocity representation, and it will do like an arpeggio depending on where I click it. So I can listen to the velocity and check it out, and do tests like that. I can also make this, with this knob I can make the arpeggio, or whatever you want to call it, faster. And then you can right-click any of these members and play around with the velocity curve if you want to change it. Okay, so one thing that people want to know about is how you can combine the ambience from one studio together with the closed mic sound from another. So I'm going to show that now. We have the Custom Vintage loaded on the computer, and that's a very dry studio for those that haven't heard it. Great sounding drums, but we want to add some atmosphere to the sound. So what we'll do is that we go into an X drum, create a new X drum. Create a new X drum from the library Avatar, and we want to have a kick drum. I want to use the generic picture just to make the picture smaller. I don't want to have big drums in the interface at this moment. Now when I click this X drum, you can hear the whole drum. I don't want the drum in itself from its close mic. I just want the ambience. So what I'll do is I go into the microphone assignment, I reset all the microphones, I drag in the microphones I want to use, and in this case I want to use the ambience mid and the ambience far. I click OK, and when I hit this pad now, there won't be any sound because those mics are not loaded by default. So I have to go into the mixer, make sure that I mark the channels that are connected to that drum, hit the individual bleed edit, and go down and select the kick drum, and all of a sudden it will be loaded and you can hear it. So what I want to do now is I want to create another X drum so I can also use an X drum for the snare. I'm going to create an X drum from the library Allaire. I'm going to use the snare. I'm going to do the same thing with the microphone assignment. So I'll just reset it and select the ambience mid and the ambience far as new microphones. Once again, go into the mixer, make sure I loaded everything, and there we go. Snare, kick. So the kick drum is avatar ambience, the snare is Allaire ambience. I'm gonna go into the mapping now to show you how you do this. So now I'll select the kick drum with my right mouse click, and I hit select the articulation from that and drag it down to note number 36 and join it. So now when I hit 36, I will have an ambience on it from avatar. I'll do the same thing with the snare drum. I take the center articulation, drag it down to note number 38 and join it. So now I have a ambience from Allaire on the snare. Let's go into the grooves menu, select the groove and hit play. And now I can of course play around with how much ambience I want and all that. So that's an easy way to do it. You can do so much more, but this is just one way of doing that. So I'm going to give you another example. It's I'm going to blend, take a hand clap and put it on a snare, and I'm going to offset the hand clap a bit so you have a flam effect, and also only use it on a certain velocity so you'll see what happens. Okay, so I have Metal Foundry up here, and I'm gonna go into an X drum again, choose library, and choose the claustrophobic ECX. Choose the instrument claps, like that. And I'm also gonna do some microphone assignment. I wanna use the distortion, and I'm gonna use the I'm going to actually reset the mics. I'm going to use the distortion, I'm going to use the hand clap, and I'm going to use the reverb microphone from Claustrophobic. Hit OK. Just make sure I have it loaded here. Go into the mixer and choose the clap, snap, and distortion. And there you go. All right, those are on. So there you go, a bit less distortion maybe, and a bit reverb. There you go. Maybe shorter reverb. Okay, so let's go into the mapping. I'm gonna take these claps and drag it onto the snare note. I have a groove which I'm gonna play so I can see which notes are playing, so I know where to put the claps. So let's go into the grooves, play the groove, go back to the mapping and take the claps, articulation. As I can see here, the snare is playing the muted articulation, this one. So I'll put the claps on that and hit join. As you can hear, the clap is there now. I also want the claps to be on only 127. So as you can hear now, when the groove are playing ghost notes, it doesn't play the clap. And also I want the clap to be offsetted a bit. So I'll go into the construct window and hit the edit button on the envelope and offset it. So now it's flamming a bit against the snare.